Hi, it's Chris Croft here from successfultrainers.com. Now, one of the corners of the training market that is often neglected is something called CPD, Continuing Professional Development. Now, they change the name every now and then, but the principle is that most professions, lawyers, accountants, engineers, doctors, whatever, they have to spend a certain amount of time every year sharpening the saw, improving themselves as a professional. And they have to do that training with somebody. Now, it may not be training, it may be other forms of work experience or going to conferences or whatever, but training is one way they can get the hours. And they might need to get, for example, 30 hours a year. Now, it varies, but let's say that you're a lawyer and you've got to do 30 hours a year. Now, you could go to 31-hour conferences, but that's a pain. It's much better to do some training with somebody. And so if we can find a way to help lawyers to use up that time in the most useful way, then we will have a queue of lawyers wanting to avail themselves of our training. So it's really worth thinking about, what do lawyers need to know? So possibly something like time management might be really useful, because this continuing professional development doesn't have to be technical legal stuff. And similarly, engineers, it doesn't have to be sort of maths or materials or something. It can be management stuff. And often engineers are pretty up to date on the technical stuff, but they are interested in management. Maybe they've got a management element to their job that they've recently acquired and they don't know anything about management. So they're interested in learning about management. So if we can teach engineers management or negotiating or something like that, then that could be really useful to them and fun. They might love to come on a negotiating course and learn about how to get a bargain on their car or their house. And that still counts as continuing professional development. So the key is to identify some sectors like lawyers or engineers and work out what they want to know about and then offer it to them as a way to get their CPD. Now, some of them don't even realize that they can do management stuff and it counts towards their CPD. And we can extend the hours as well, because we can make it, say, a 7-hour training day, but we can give them some reading to do, some exercises to do, a bit of online learning to view, and that can double the amount of hours. And who knows whether they actually do that or not, of course. And they might be able to do that. They might be able to listen to something while they're driving, for example, and that would probably count towards their hours. So we want to find a way to help them to do 30 hours of useful learning. And if we can do that, it's quite an easy sale. You could just phone up law firms and say, I can help you to do your CPD, learning about delegating. I've got an in-car program or whatever, which does half of it. There's a bit of face-to-face, or we do it over Zoom, and they will be interested in that. Now, previously, either the person, that would be you, or the course that you're running, has to be approved. And that was how it used to be. So either you'd have to be on a list or they'd have to check out your course. But they seem to have loosened off the rules on this now, and no longer do you have to be an accredited or an approved person, or your course no longer has to be accredited or registered, or whatever word they want to use. So now it's more self-certified. So the lawyer can come on your course, add it to the list of what they've done that year, and then if they are randomly checked up on, they can say, yeah, I've done 30 hours because I went on Chris's course for this, and I read Chris's book for that, and I listened to Chris's podcast or his online learning, and I did this, and here it all is. And if you can have a certificate as well that they get at the end, that's even better, because they can say, and here's the certificate to prove it. So CPD is definitely an area worth looking into, because busy people like lawyers probably won't do any other training. You know, if they don't have to do it as part of their CPD, they probably won't do it. They'd probably rather be being a lawyer and earning money. But CPD forces them to do 30 hours a year. So why not help them to use up that time? So that's one of the sales angles that I would explain more about if you were on my Successful Trainers program. And if you think that kind of information could be useful to you, then why not give me a call? Just go to successfultrainers.com, book a time in my diary for a chat, and maybe I can help you with the whole world of selling and delivering training as a freelance, self-employed management trainer.